series of arrests following a number of inmate deaths at Waupun's prison. The former warden now behind bars, and practices at Green Bay's own prison being called into question.
It was also brought to my attention later that there were similar type incidents that have occurred at Green Bay Correctional Institution.
The Dodge County Sheriff pushing for the closure or renovation of both Waupun's and Green Bay's prisons, and laying the matter before Governor Tony Evers.
The governor has indicated to the legislature, who I have spoken with, he's not in favor of building another prison. I would ask, why not?
Coming up, what we know about today's announced arrests and the swirling questions around the fate of both Green Bay and Waupun's prisons.
Balanced news and severe weather coverage. This is Fox 11 News at 5.
Another shakeup for Wisconsin's prison system. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. The former warden of Waupun Correctional Institution finds himself behind bars, and so do 8 other employees. It's all connected to the deaths of 4 inmates. Warden Randall Hemp is facing 1 felony count of misconduct in public office. His arrest comes after he recently resigned from his position. How did this happen, and why did this conduct go on for so long? Fox 11's Ben Krumholtz was at today's press conference in Dodge County as the charges were read. He brings us the facts.
4 inmates at Waupun Correctional Institution died during an 8-month span starting in late June of last year. The Dodge County Sheriff's Department has been investigating the deaths and revealed Wednesday afternoon 9 employees will be held accountable with criminal charges.
These people were not cared for, and they are people. They were not cared for at Waupun Correctional.
The manner of death for the first inmate who died was ruled suicide. The second was an accidental overdose. The third was natural, and the fourth was ruled a homicide. The charges against the prison employees are only for the third and fourth deaths. The third suffered a stroke, but Sheriff Dale Schmidt says routine checks weren't done on the inmate and warning signs were ignored.
Evidence shows that the decedent was dead in his cell at least 12 hours before he was discovered.
Sheriff Schmidt says the fourth inmate was ruled homicide primarily due to dehydration and malnourishment. Water was shut off in his cell for significant periods of time, and he wasn't served 9 of 12 meals over a 4-day period.
Correctional officers failed to conduct required rounds on numerous occasions. However, staff intentionally initialed that rounds were completed when they were not, and supervisors were aware of this practice occurring regularly.
I don't think that there was any intent in these cases. I think this is purely one of neglect.
Some of the issues happening here are similar to what inmates have been complaining about for the past year at Green Bay Correctional Institution. The state has confirmed that both have been under what they refer to as a modified movement, a type of lockdown that includes limitations on things like showers, outdoor time, and visitation.
They were investigated in Brown County. No criminal charges were filed in those incidents, and a stern warning was issued by the investigator to the Department of Corrections, meaning this is not isolated to one facility.
Sheriff Schmidt says Department of Corrections Secretary Kevin Carr resigned 3 days after a phone conversation detailing what investigators determined was happening in Waupun.
I do not find that to be a coincidence.
Deputy Secretary Jared Hoy was named Carr's replacement less than 2 weeks ago.
Why are you optimistic the new secretary can get this on the right track?
I'm optimistic that he has provided me with the right things so far. That's yet to be seen. He has been very open and honest with me. He has been accommodating to the needs that we have had.
Governor Tony Evers is requesting the Sheriff's Department here keep its investigation open while federal and internal probes continue. However, the sheriff says they feel they've conducted a proper investigation for everything under their purview, but would be willing to reopen any case should more information present itself. In Dodge County, Ben Krumholtz, Fox 11 News.
Ben, thank you. The sheriff detailed a long list of recommendations to improve safety, including renovating or building a new prison. He would also like to see body scanning technology to keep out contraband. As Ben mentioned, 8 others are charged connected to this case. 3 face a felony count of misconduct in public office. They are 35-year-old correctional officer Sarah Ransbottom, 41-year-old correctional officer Jeremy Chalker, and 39-year-old correctional officer Officer Jamal Russell. Jamal Russell is also facing a felony count of abuse of residents in the prison. So are 5 others, and they are 50-year-old registered nurse Gwendolyn Peachy and 47-year-old registered nurse Jessica Hosfeld, 29-year-old correctional lieutenant Brandon Fisher, 27-year-old correctional sergeant Tanner Leopold, and 31-year-old correctional sergeant Alexander Holfelder.